Someone seems to think you have talent. But unfortunately, this is Los Angeles. I need more than talent. I need stars. Enjoy the party.
When the right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Welcome to the best soccer show. The best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go! It's the best soccer show. Jason Davis, Jared Dubois, live on a Sunday night, post MLS Cup, pre-US Men's National Team roster job, hanging out, talking soccer with our friends. Jared, quick note for everybody out there listening to the show. I will let you impersonate whoever you want for $8 a month on the best soccer show. Whoever you want. You can pretend to be whoever you want. You will not get canceled. You will not get banned.
Wait.
Pretend whoever you want.
Do you have checkmark problems?
I don't, actually. Not yet. Honestly, I was thinking about that. Okay. You really want to go this direction?
I had no idea you were going to even say that.
I had a joke lined up, not a whole examination of my blue checkmark status. I don't know how I would feel if it was gone. At this point, because of what's happening, I don't think I would care at all. Because who cares? Like, everybody's getting their check mark taken away and I'm not paying $8. That's for damn sure. There's none of that.
A bridge too far, my friend.
I guess there could be a billion Jason Davises impersonating me on Twitter, and
it's a pretty
what
white
I'd be able
name.
to do.
Yeah.
What? What
I mean,
does
there
that
could be
mean?
a lot of Jason Davises out there to say, but that combination exists.
There are a lot of Jason Davises.
There's a couple of Jared Dubois. One of them is a magician that I get notifications about in, like, maybe Canada. Some magician. And there was a college basketball player that was pretty good.
There's like an Associated Press photographer named Jason Davis. So every time he gets credited, it pops up somewhere, and I'll like, oh, okay.
That's a nice kind of collab right there. You don't mind having that crossover a little bit.
There's also a guy in soccer who used to work for Adidas, I don't know if he still does, named Jason Davis, who knows a lot of the same people that I know. So I'll say, occasionally I'll get a text message from someone who maybe is involved in the company that owns this program, and they go, hey, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the hell? And it's, wrong Jason Davis. Wrong Jason Davis. There you go.
So my kid comes in the other day, right? And he's like, Dad, is it okay? Can I watch Ready Player One? I'm like, whoa. Come on, kid. Did you say watch? Like, this is a frustrating thing for me because I'm like, buddy, can you do me one favor? Can you do me one favor in this world? Don't take the easy way on this one and watch the movie, please.
Okay.
Please take the time and read the book.
This is interesting to me because my kid has read Ready Player One.
Okay.
I don't believe he understands 3/4 of the book.
Okay, so this is where we had the next conversation. It was like, buddy, let me take a few weeks and give you a course in the pop culture history. You need to. We're gonna watch War Games. We've already talked about it.
You're gonna give him homework to read a book? Come on.
He's going that
Seriously.
homework. He's gonna get to experience some fantastic pop culture. Like, he's gonna find out where we got the DEFCON drops that we use on this show.
Maybe this is a journey.
DEFCON 2.
Maybe this is a journey that you and he can go on together, and he will enjoy it, and that's very possible. It could be a bonding exercise for you.
Sure.
At the same time, it could literally be like, oh my God, my dad's making me watch this old movie with this guy. I don't even know who this is. What's happening? Why does this computer look like that?
Doesn't like global thermonuclear war.
But it's interesting you mention this because in a bid to get my kid to read more things, we give him some reading time every evening. And the book he grabbed off of my shelf is Snow Crash, which may be even more.
My kid tried to read it. He couldn't do it. He tried to read it.
He's a little bit younger.
He grabbed
than
it off
Ethan.
my shelf as well. Like, any of these books you want to read, you can. And that's when I was like, maybe that's
No.
not the one for you to read, buddy. I'm not sure. But I
There's
think Ready Player
some
One's
stuff
more
in there.
approachable than Snow Crash. It's a lot. And then the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and then we'll get into the soccering. Have you watched the preview for the second Christmas Story movie?
No, I did
You
not
didn't
know
know
that
you didn't know that
existed.
there's a sequel coming out this Christmas
No.
on HBO Max.
35
All the original
years later?
people.
What?
All the original
What?
people.
What?
Outside the ones that are dead.
Yeah, some of them are dead.
Original
Yes.
kid, original two friends of the kid, tongue stuck to the pole, everything like that. A lot of the original cast you'll notice in there. But here's the thing I was telling my wife. We were watching the preview, right? I was like, there's no way they got Scotty Schwartz to do this. Scotty Schwartz of the toy fame of Richard Pryor, who eventually did porno fame.
Yeah.
Scotty
He did
Schwartz
some bad
went down a
stuff.
dark path, and I was like, "There's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
way they got Scotty Schwartz in this thing." Halfway through the preview, Scotty Schwartz in full view, baby. Like they brought everyone back. They don't care what you've done in your past. You were back for this movie right
Well,
here.
I mean, people aren't going to go look for Scott Schwartz's bio and like, oh, he did porn. Well, I'm not watching Christmas Story 2 with my family this holiday season. Nobody knows.
I just thought it was a bold choice.
I will highly recommend no one ever go watch The Toy, but also kind of go watch The Toy if you can find it.
The Toy is both good and bad.
It's so
1980s good, 2022 disturbing.
It is bad in that way. It's Richard Pryor. You can't go wrong with Richard Pryor, but yeah,
He's
The
not the
Toy
problem.
is not. I would say Brewster's Millions, and then maybe if you have some time later on.
The Toy, if you can set aside the 40 years of progress we've made as a society, still has value comedically, but socially tough.
And Jackie Gleason's in there too, right?
Oh, Jackie Gleason's one of the worst parts.
Jackie
They give
Gleason.
him all the bad parts.
He's playing the racist guy. Okay, anyway, I don't know why you took us down this road. All I'm saying is if you want to pay $8, you can pretend to be whoever you want on this program. You can pretend to be Greg Berhalter, because we're going to talk about the roster. I will talk. I will. I played the LA Stars clip from Matador right off the top because, look, Jared, you grew up in Los Angeles. I know there's like the allure of Hollywood and the storytelling and all. And look, the rest of the country, we get inundated with all these Hollywood things and stuff coming out of Los Angeles. And I just told you that I watched The Nice Guys this weekend.
Yeah.
That's an LA story. Porno straight in the middle of it. Movie making straight in the middle of it, right? Also cars for some reason. Catalytic converters for other reasons.
The most
I don't know.
LA movie of all time is Swingers.
It's a very, very LA movie. And how could you write a better LA Hollywood ending than to have the guy who had done absolutely nothing since joining from Real Madrid, the world famous Gareth Bale, a guy who he cost over $100 million to go to Real Madrid, and now he's in Los Angeles. He doesn't ever play. He's out there, he's out there on the links every week, taking it, getting his game sharp, but not his soccer game. They bring him off the bench. When was that? Like
it was the start of extra time, maybe just
was
before
the start.
Of
It was
extra time?
before at the start of extra time because I was like, oh,
It was in for Vela, right?
you're taking Vela off before they get to extra time, which means before they might get to penalty kicks. So you're basically saying we're okay with somebody else taking our penalties besides Carlos Vela. Now you have Gareth Bale sitting on the bench, but we didn't know what he was going to be able to do. And for him to look, Jack Elliott had an incredible day. Day. He scored twice. He was good defensively. He gets beat one time.
The dude
by
got big
Gareth
time.
Bale.
He got big time by one of the biggest names in the sport. Like, I guess every once in a while, like, listen, Shaq can still dunk. Like, he may not be good. He probably can't play anymore, but if you put him a ball and you give him a guy in front of him, he's going to dunk on him still. There's certain guys that are going to be able to do certain things for quite some time. Gareth Bale can't play 90 minutes, but you give him a head ball and a good service, the dude knows how to finish. He's going to finish, and he finished with authority over my man.
It was a good cross into a good spot. Bale got up, beat his man, scores the equalizer. We know what happened. I mean, there's so many things to unpack from this game. Before I even get into sort of the timeline and what happened, and holy crap, that moment, and then that moment, and then that other moment, Jared, best MLS Cup final of all time? Yes or no?
Man, yeah, I would have to say so because it had a lot of stuff. Like, there are finals that go. What's the hard part is saying yes to this with a shootout ending. That's the hard part of saying yes to this.
Well,
traditionally, I think traditionally a shootout finish is not. You're talking about the best MLS Cup of all time. The storylines around it and the way that they got to the shootout, I think, are what make this potentially the best.
Yeah, well, but then you set the stage with Maxime Crepeau breaking his leg on that clash with Corey Burke, and John McCarthy, the former Philadelphia Union, the Philly kid, he's a Philly kid, steps in, makes what should have been an incredible game-saving save, except for Elliott's on the doorstep to hit the rebound in, and then in the penalty kick shootout makes two saves was it two, right? Because
then one went over the bar.
Gazdag went over the bar to lead his team to a victory. I mean, again, how do you even? You
And that's what I'm saying.
conjured
What
this.
makes it the best MLS Cup of all time is the storylines and the way things played out. Maxime Crepeau sacrificed a leg for what would have been a goal-scoring opportunity. Like, literally, if he doesn't do that tackle on Burke, he's in on goal, and you're tapping it in, and the bail goal doesn't matter.
Did you see how bummed out Ishmael Elfath was to give a red card to a guy with a broken leg?
Dude, I
so
felt for the
sad.
dude. It's very rare I feel for a referee. That I
like,
felt bad for my man, dude. Like, and he even went like shrugged, like, "What am I gonna do?" You know, like,
sorry, bro.
What I almost expected to do was not to put it up high and just maybe just kind of show him down low, just like, "Hey, I'm doing this," you know.
This is a red card, but I don't want to show you up because I know you got a broken leg.
Hey, I know you're in a lot of physical pain right now, but you may be seeing red. But here's another reason why you are.
The funny thing is that, well, okay, the Gazdag goal was well taken, but neither one of the first two goals was like, wow, great MLS Cup caliber goal. You know, great moment. We had
The game was not that good up to the last part, though. It was set piece goals.
The goals weren't good. Andre Blake made a couple of good saves. I feel like
I don't even think, and I'll be honest with you, and this is not me being a Galaxy hater, I don't think LAFC played the better ball for the 120 minutes. I think Philly was by far the better team over that 120 minutes.
But this is what I think, though. I think that LAFC flipped the script on Philadelphia. Philly did some things, but I also think that, you know, the way LAFC was playing, you expected them to want the ball, them to set the tempo, and they were basically conceding to Philadelphia possession, at least for the first half. And I think that kind of threw everything off a little bit. And it was always going to be chippy. It was always going to be, you know, like not the best played game. Finals rarely are the best played games. Yeah. We don't see good play, you know, well played finals. What we see is cagey play, physical play, a referee who's got to get a handle on the game. You know, there were a couple of moments where Elfath maybe made questionable choices. And so, you know.
Listen, here's the thing, though. You don't have to be the better team to win the cup. And I think that's what we're seeing here. I think Philly probably was the better team. LAFC stepped up to the occasion, stepped up to the moments, made their own luck when they needed to. And you can't deny the heart of a team that comes back with a man down and finds a way to get the result. What I will say, though, is not a great look for MLS Cup is the stuff being thrown out of the stands.
Oh, LAFC fans got to stop with that. Got to stop with that.
That's soiling the premier product the league has on display.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. You know, that part was ugly. There was lots of good stuff. I mean, we had Colin Hanks and Rob McElhenney on the field before the game with the trophy.
I didn't see that part. I didn't see them with the trophy, but I do know that Justin Bieber was in the house as well.
Oh, Justin Bieber was definitely in the house wearing a pink hat. He 100% an LAFC guy. 100%. He was going bonkers.
Oh, he looks
calls.
like the fedora type. So yeah, for sure.
I think that there's a lot of celebrities who aren't from Los Angeles who definitely have adopted LAFC now that they live in Los Angeles. I think McElhenney was there repping Philadelphia, though. I don't think he was messing around pretending to be an LAFC fan. I saw Will Ferrell drinking out of the MLS Cup, Jared.
As he should.
That's absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
I appreciate. Listen, that's a good owner. You got to admit, in the stage of owners that are out there, Will Ferrell represents for his team. You know, there's owners out there you don't see be very involved. My team is one of them. Like, when do you ever see Uncle Phil other than on the trophy stand at the very end, handing it to Bruce Arena and then walking away? Like, Uncle Phil is a very absent owner. Will Ferrell's involved. You know, there's some owners that are doing a very good job.
Owner, though. He's just kind of hanging on.
He's the guy what owner do you identify with for LAFC? When you think AFC and you ownership, who's your brain?
I mean, Larry Berg is the guy. I kind of know who that is.
Is that what you think? Jason Davis, who has a show on Sirius XM, knows that.
What? You know about my show, really? You know?
I know about your show more than I know about ownership of LAFC.
Thank you for recognizing.
The average MLS fan has no idea who that is.
That's true. I think that people who don't know LAFC's actual owners would say, "Oh, Will Ferrell's an owner of that team." Sure.
So whatever. LAFC, they got their first star. I think that over the last 3 years, there's probably another team that over the last 3 years didn't deserve it more. And as a Galaxy fan, I honestly knew what they were feeling in that moment when Jack Elliott puts that second goal in. I know what it's like from 96 to 2003 to be the best team in the league multiple years and be in the spot multiple times and just not have the luck go your way, and it takes forever to get that first one. LA Galaxy and DC United were a class above for 5-6 years, and Galaxy couldn't get it done. So it's a good feeling for all the LAFC fans out there right
Magic
now.
Johnson, also an LAFC owner.
You couldn't remember until the guy put it in the chat, though.
No, I did. I'm pointing it out because he's saying it. I'm not saying I remembered, although he did.
And Mia Hamm and Omar Garza.
They definitely had to order that jersey special for Magic. Magic is brolic. He's a big dude.
Magic can still dunk?
That's a good question. Maybe.
I mean, he's not the same size as Shaq. Shaq goes on his tippy toes and he puts it in.
Shaq barely
Magic's
has to
still
move.
got to get a little bit of vertical to make it happen.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Magic's necessarily been keeping the. I don't know. He's so heavy now. Like he's a big guy now. He played big. Don't get me wrong when he was in the NBA, but not like that.
Let me give you a quick Philly pick your poison here real fast for the Philly fans out there.
Okay, well, Saturday, bad day for Philadelphia sports.
Yeah, for a couple different reasons. Did the Eagles lose today or they win?
I did not check.
Okay.
I don't know if
they played on Thursday night and won.
Okay,
they played on Thursday. That's right. They played on Thursday to get to 8-0, and that was leading into the weekend when it was like, hey, World Series, MLS Cup final.
Here's my pick your poison for you.
Okay.
Sunday morning or even Saturday after the whistle blows, who do you feel worse for, Jim Curtin or Alejandro Bedoya? Jim Curtin's the class of the league in terms of coaches. The guy, those kids, he's done more with less. Or Alejandro Bedoya, who had to be taken out, it couldn't play this game down the stretch, and the heart of the team that couldn't. He's on the sidelines, willing this team down this field.
I know he was going. I know he was involved heavily. He was coaching from the side.
Yeah.
I think it's Bedoya.
So
you feel worse for. Curtin's he might get another shot. I mean, they were asking him. I think it was Herc actually who asked him, "Hey, are you thinking about Europe? Are you thinking about testing yourself at a higher level?" And he's like, well, why can't MLS be the best league in the world by 2026? Which is kind of a wild thing to say, Jim. I'm not going to lie. And then, obviously he said it's the right opportunity.
And I'm going to stand up for Jim Curtin on this. I've seen him take a lot of heat for this. And listen, we all know that's pie in the sky bullshit. But why wouldn't a guy that's shown the path for developing talent, making this guy has done everything that he can with less than most every coach in the league. If I can do it and I can build this with what I've had at my disposal and the ownership and the lack of funds that he's been given, why can't other coaches do it? The talent is here. What he's showing is the talent is here at a coaching level, at a recruitment level, developmental level. Why at the support level, the support the Philly team is getting. Why can't, if we did that in every city, why couldn't MLS develop?
First of all, there
2026 is probably rough. I'm not going to lie.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't know that Jim's saying if everybody does what Philly does, we're the best league in the world. I think and look, Jim is, he's being a booster. He's not saying for real. I mean, he's just saying it because, if we try really hard, American soccer can grow. He's a guy who believes in American soccer. I have no problem with that. I don't hate his comments at all. I think they're just, they're obviously hyperbolic. The thing that would have to happen for that to happen is to spend crazy amounts of money, and MLS isn't going to spend crazy amounts of money. That's the one argument against it. Now, it doesn't mean MLS can't be a good league, and it is a good league, but it can't even be. It's not that it can't be a better league by then. The thing that is the mix of ingredients in Philadelphia, I don't think that's replicable everywhere, but it is replicable. Sure, there's no reason it can't be done.
There's no league. There's no league in the world. I would think. I can't think of one right now that's had more upward trajectory over 30 years or 25 years than MLS.
I mean, most of those leagues that we compare MLS to have been around for 100 years.
You're talking about MLS potentially being a top 10 league in the world right now.
Okay, so this is what I always say about the national team, but it absolutely is applicable to MLS too. If we imagine this as a race, and every league has a runner who's running the race, they have a 75, 100-year, 50-year head start on Major League Soccer, right?
Yep.
In most cases. Every case that matters. Premier League, Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, Mexico.
Most of them 100.
They all have an incredible head start. Now, MLS is sprinting and they're jogging, so MLS is making up ground.
Yep.
But they're not stopping. It's not like they're like, let's just wait here for MLS to catch up. Okay, go. There's still going to be a gap.
Yeah, but
gap
look at the J League, which
it
was around the same time as MLS. MLS is a better league than the J League.
Okay, so it should be, right? Based on the strength of the country, the economic power of the United States of America, the fact that just the rest of the world will look to, even if the rest of the world's like, ew, MLS, they're still like, oh, MLS, oh, America, oh, this, oh, that. Now, there's lots of things that complicate MLS's place in the market because it's competing not just with other American sports, it's also competing with all these other leagues who have footholds in America that, and that may be true in some other places, but the MLS didn't have 50, 75, 100 years on its own here to incubate and grow its fan base to the point of, well, if the Premier League's on television, I still have my MLS team I care about. People care only about the Premier League and not about MLS, which is fine.
I think one of the things that makes it okay to talk about MLS and the growth and whether Curtin's being hyperbolic or not, and obviously I believe he is, but one of the things that's on display at this MLS Cup that makes MLS good, if not maybe one day great, is you saw two teams doing it completely different. The way that they got there, the way they built their teams. In LAFC, you see the path of who wants to spend money, who wants to team build with talent from all over the country, all over the world, excuse me. And then in Philly, you have a team that we're committed to developing talent. We're committed to playing the kids. We're committed to buying some talent. That makes sense.
Committed to having as many Philadelphia area assholes on their team as possible. I respect the hell out of it. Do it. Go. Put your assholes on your team. I mean,
I'm just going to let that hang. I'm going to let that hang. You got to own it.
Come on. They're going to be fine with it. This is the thing. This is why that whole debate, I want to move on from this, but this is why that whole debate about like where the Union fit into the Philadelphia sports scene, because the Eagles are great, the Phillies made the World Series, et cetera, et cetera. What's funny to me about that is that while it's, the Phillies have been around for 100 years and the Eagles have been around since the start of the NFL, and obviously those are big sports in America, bigger than soccer, none of those teams reflect Philly the way that the Union reflects Philly. Like, none of them have the same number of Philly area kids or players on them that the Union does. If you're a Philadelphian and you're proud to be from Philadelphia, I'm not saying that you have to like the Union more than the Eagles or more than the Phillies. Love them all. But recognize that the team that is most like you is the Philadelphia Union because they take kids from the area and turn them into professionals. That's all.
What's not to love about that? That's a fantastic story.
That's an endearing asshole thing with the Union and the Philly fans, by the way. Love you all. I really was sad. And we have a lot of listeners who are from Philly.
So
I know we got some LAFC people
they
too.
Have a bleach asshole?
Okay, that's not appropriate. That's beyond a line.
Nick just made a look that he doesn't know what that means.
Nobody needed you to do that. Nobody needed you to say anything like that. No. Let's talk about the U.S. men's national team roster because it drops in 3 days, 72 hours, right?
Yeah.
Roughly, on Wednesday night. And
Are
now,
you going to be live when it's going out? No, it's in the afternoon, huh?
Yeah, it's at like 5 p.m. they're doing it, I think, on ESPN2. I will be watching. I was thinking about whether or not we were going to be doing something. We don't usually plan stuff on the air, but maybe we'll figure out.
There's a possibility, actually.
We might be able to do something post announcement. The weekend being done means we now at least have some information as to who's healthy, right? Form is a different question. Form gets a little bit more wonky with how much does it matter, how much did he play, et cetera, et cetera. And there's some guys for whom minutes doesn't matter at all. They're going to be in the team. And maybe some for whom, minutes doesn't matter at all because they're definitely not going to be in the team. So where are we, Jared, as we look at this? Because I think you and I could put together what we think Greg Berhalter is going to do and then what we might change.
Yeah,
right,
so I think I've
roster.
trusted you in this regard. You've prepped two different rosters, and I think you know what we both feel about most of these players.
I left that list upstairs, so I'm going to do this off the top of my head.
Oh, did you really?
I did. I told you before the show. I left it upstairs. You want me to go get it on the air live?
No, because I can't fill. I'm not good.
Oh, that would be amazing. Do you guys want to hear Jared fill for like 30 seconds?
I will talk to you about disc golf. I'll tell you about my skins today.
I'm doing this. All right, I'm doing this. This is you. Go. I'll get my list. Go.
Dang it, dude. I hate this so much. Nick, come in, Nick. Don't tell Jason, but come in. There you go.
What's up, besties?
There you go. Now, let's see. You have to time your camera off real quick by the time we hear him coming, okay?
Okay.
All right, so today, first of all, I won our skins match. Actually, dang, I tied 3-3-2. But
Banging chains?
I was banging chains. Yeah, banging chains. And by the way, shout out, I think it's to Steve in the Bessie's Slack out there banging chains for the first time. Now I think he's addicted. Nick, okay, turn up.
You cheated.
What's up,
you
dude?
got Nick on the air with you?
What are you talking about?
That's
I didn't cheat.
Come on.
Prove it.
You cheated.
Prove
Just do
it.
30 seconds of what I do for 3 hours every day.
But ask myself open-ended questions.
Ouch, man.
Is that who we are as U.S. Soccer? Is that who we are? Is that who we want to be?
Hey, man, that's rhetorical stuff. That works.
Nick back in
Don't
the
mess
house.
with me.
To be fair, I only said 2 words.
Yes.
I said bang and chains, and that is it.
I have to have someone to bounce off of, dude. Like,
So he filled.
Even metaphorically.
He filled.
metaphorically.
I didn't
I believe
say
you.
much at all.
Now, look, the funny thing about running up and getting
What look
this,
did your wife give you when you started running upstairs in the middle of your show?
she's like, what is going on? She's watching something.
This
All
doesn't
right,
happen.
So the funny thing about this is that this is chalk. It's chalk, Jerry. I don't think we even need what I wrote down, because what I wrote down is what everybody else has written down.
This
okay,
is
for the most
wait.
part.
When you're talking about Berhalter's roster,
Yes, Berhalter. What we think, what Berhalter's going to do. Now,
and I think when you did this exercise, you only came up with 2 different players when you said what Berhalter would do versus what you think you and I would probably pick.
I have 2 different players. Yes, I could probably squeeze another one out, but I'm just not convinced. All right. Okay. So let's
Sometimes
do
you gotta
this.
squeeze one out.
I'm going to give you, this is what I think Berhalter is going to do. You tell me if you disagree, right? So this is going to be ding if you agree with me. And
That Berhalter will do this. Yes. Okay.
I don't have the buzzer here? Oh, my God. I don't
All right.
have
This
the
is gonna be
buzzer.
nothing but dings, baby.
All right, let's go. All right, so it's, okay. Matt Turner dressed for Arsenal today. He didn't play.
Good enough
but
for
he did
me.
dress. All right, that's a ding. Zach Steffen.
Ding.
That's Sean Johnson.
Agreed.
Okay, so not
I mean,
Ethan
barring,
Horvath.
I think if anything, Gaga Solina, based on what he's doing in the camp right now, has more of a chance.
I see. Okay.
But I don't think it's
so let's go. I might have done these slightly out of order positionally, but let's do Zimmerman. Long.
Ding. Ding.
Okay, now here's where it gets a little bit. Now
This is one of the spots.
I have McKenzie and CCV.
I think you are right in terms of what Berhalter will do.
Okay, so let's move on then. Fullbacks, that would be Dest,
Yep.
Yedlin.
Yep.
Now I have, Robinson on the other side.
Yep.
I have Cannon on my list.
I agree. I think Dest is serving dual purpose here. It's a little bit risky with Anthony Robinson's recent injury, but he looks like he's in good shape. I mean, he's talking about the fact that he's always going to be injured right this season, but I think that's
that
right.
means that's it for fullbacks for me. I don't go beyond that. You tell me if I'm a short one.
I think you are matching what Berhalter would
Okay.
do right now.
All right, so let's go to the midfield. That means Adams, Acosta,
Yep.
McKennie,
Yep.
Musa.
Yep.
Okay, this is where it gets.
De La Torre
again.
is training.
Is he?
He is training.
He's training. Okay,
He's
I
training.
didn't hear that.
Yeah.
That might
I
change.
saw pictures of him.
Do you put De La Torre in the mix if he's training?
If he's training, yes, I do.
Okay, so
I think
so
that's
I
chalk
don't-
for Berhalter. For Berhalter, I think
I-
if he's training, I think Berhalter's taking him.
Okay, well then that leads to a question of who loses out. So if it's De La Torre, do you think it's Christian Roldan or Malik Tillman?
I think he likes Malik Tillman more these days. I think
Okay.
Christian Roldan is becoming the new Sebastian Lletget for Greg Berhalter.
Okay, so you're taking Roldan out and putting Tillman in because De La
For
Torre will be there.
Berhalter, yes, I am.
Okay, well that's sort of. I think Tillman is another analog for De La Torre, which is an analog for Musa. So I'm not positive that.
So what are you saying then? You disagree with me? You think it's Roldan over Tillman?
No,
Or-
I think Tillman is a dark horse candidate, but I think it's possible, and it's hard to get to 26. Really, it's freaking hard to get to 26.
Well, here's the thing. Roldan is coming off injury, not playing with this club team.
but he's
playing.
he's in the fitness camp.
Yeah, but Tillman
he's
also
in the
put
I'm not
60
saying that
minutes
means
for
he's
Rangers
definitely
today,
there.
or this weekend.
Okay, all right. Let's move on. I don't know if we came to a conclusion there, but Pulisic, Aronson, Weah,
Yep.
Reyna,
Yep.
forwards, Pepe,
Yep.
Sargent,
Yes.
back healthy or back
Yep.
from his recent injury.
Yeah, he played this
Ferreira.
weekend. Yes.
Okay, and then my last two are two Berhalter guys, Jordan Morris and Paul Arriola.
Agreed. Listen, I think that's the Berhalter roster. I think that is the Berhalter roster. But like I said, there is a little question mark about Luca De La Torre's making that one submission around him difficult, not knowing what his injury status is. The
Yeah.
fact that he's back training, to what degree, and how close is he? That I think you could see some movement out there. But other than that, I agree.
Is this what we determine this, or are we going to give him credit for this? Camp
came up with
Cornucopia.
that.
We came with that. I'm glad I didn't.
Or it
remember.
came from our chat on one of the shows. We've uttered those words.
It came out of our mouth on this show, whether we made it up or not. Okay, Camp Cornucopia out there in Frisco. Okay, so this is where changes if you were Greg, you were talking about this a little while ago, right? Freaky Friday. That your kid was watching Freaky Friday.
Yeah,
this,
the original
this week.
Jodie
The original
Foster.
one. This is a Freaky Friday situation. I don't know if there's what happens. How does Freaky Friday work in terms of the magic, in terms of the actual?
You know what? I think it was kind of wasn't it like a fight they had with each other, and then they go to sleep and they wake up the next day.
So it's just some.
It wasn't like
decided?
vice versa, where there was a skull they rubbed or something like that.
That was the one with Dudley Moore and.
No, that's the one with Judge Reinhold and Kirk Cameron, or Fred Savage.
Fred Savage, because
You're
the one
thinking
with,
of Kirk Cameron and Dudley Moore. That's another one. I can't remember what the name of that one is. All the same movie.
Oh, body switch movies.
Yeah.
You have switched bodies with Greg Berhalter, Jared. What does your roster look like?
I'm looking fly on my feet. Okay.
You are. You have no hair, though. Sorry about your hair.
I'm not taking
My
that
bad.
trade off, dude.
Sorry about your hair.
All right. If I'm making
You are very lithe. You're a lithe individual.
appreciate it, man.
I'm saying.
Thank you.
Yes. You switch bodies now. You're
By the way,
lithe.
that roster you just did was 26, right?
26 players.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm Berhalter, I would probably. This is a tough one. Okay. I'm probably not taking. Man, I'm trying to think of which. I want to take a center back right here. I want to find a way to get Tim Ream in this, but I'm trying to decide if I drop a center back or I drop Yedlin or Cannon and add just a straight center back, because I want to take Tim Ream. I think at this point, I feel like I would feel more at ease with him on the bench as an option. We talked about it. If I had one luxury player, we had this conversation last week. If I had one luxury player, it'd be Tim Ream, and I think you got to find a way to get him into this. So.
Okay.
I would say, man, Mark McKenzie's playing really well right now, though. I mean, he's playing really well out there. I'm going to not take Yedlin, and I would take Ream instead.
You would leave DeAndre Yedlin off. So your right back depth is now Reggie Cannon. That's your right back depth.
Reggie Cannon and Dest.
Well, yeah, I said depth. I meant beyond.
Yeah,
Dest.
but we're only taking one left back.
That's true. No, that's true. Right. You're
And
imagining
what
Dest is
the
also.
Tim Ream inclusion allows you to go to a 3-back system, and it's not as big of a deal that you don't have that depth on the fullback.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think that's likely, but sure.
If I'm going to drop center back, then it would be CCV. I think
Is that
Mark McKenzie right now
is that the only change you're making is to bring Ream in for, you said you're kicking Yedlin out.
I would do one other move, and I would not take Jordan Morris,
Oh, okay.
and I would take Haji Wright. I think Haji Wright's playing really well right now.
Okay, so
I
you
would
would
think
add a forward. You would
I would
add
add
a
a
forward
forward
to the mix.
because Josh Sargent can play wide if necessary.
Okay, well, and there's some guys. There is some positional flexibility here with a bunch of guys. I mean, central guys who play central in terms of the midfield. I mean, again, if De La Torre's back, then that definitely makes it a lot better. The De La Torre situation, before I knew he was training, and I don't know if I might still make this switch. Now, you said Tillman and De La Torre, right? You said no
I think
Christian
that's what
Roldan.
Berhalter would take. Yeah.
See, the thing about Christian Roldan is he can play like 3 different positions. So I think flexibility may save him here.
Yeah, but he's never going to see the field.
Okay, but you still have a 26-man roster, and if you haven't, but that's another reason to take a guy who's flexible, right? Because he may never see the field, but if you have an issue, you have a guy who can play there.
I
or
take
passively.
Mihalovic over Tillman or Roldan, to be honest with you.
That's my, if I'm doing Freaky Friday with Greg Berhalter, yeah, that sounds so wrong. I'm going to take Mihalovic, and probably Tillman's the guy that misses out for me. I'd rather have Mihalovic than Tillman right now.
Yeah.
Just
It's
based
just-
on
Berhalter
experience,
just
his
doesn't
creativity.
take-
Now you found a way to get Tim Ream in, and absolutely, Tim Ream is a guy that I could turn to as well. But I may make that change too if I'm Greg Berhalter, but I kind of feel like Austin Trusty should be in this team. Like, I want a guy who's
tough to come out of
incredibly
left field, though.
confident.
He's
I know
playing better
I know.
than most center backs that we have.
But I just got body switch with Greg Berhalter. I get to pull the trigger on this. I get to
But
call in the guy.
we're not talking
who's
about
in
a
the-
friendly we're bringing.
Who's
We're
in
World
better
Cup.
form? Okay, Tim Ream, I could argue, but who's in better form and is younger, more athletic than Tim Ream? Who's in better form than Austin Trusty right now at center back? Anybody?
You
Is
could
anybody?
argue CCV. You could argue
CCV's in better form than
He's
is not in
captaining
better form.
Celtic.
But he's not in better form than Austin Trusty. He's just not.
Austin Trusty's playing in the second division.
Okay, so you want to get into whether or not Celtic plays better
It's a fun-
soccer
it's a
or
fun thing
tougher
to do.
soccer
It's a
week
fun
to
thing to
week
do.
than Birmingham City does?
I'm just
Okay.
saying, Cameron Carter-Vicker was playing Champions League, obviously Europa League last season.
His
I mean,
name is Cameron Kaaveas.
Kaaveas.
Get it right.
He's been playing. I just think there's a longer track record of performance. Austin Trusty's hot right now.
It's not
He's hot right now.
It's not that much longer a track. It is a longer track record. It's just not that much longer.
The dude was
He
in the
got there
Tottenham
last
system
year.
for a number. There's pedigree as well. Like, come on. Like, the guy has been on a track record of
I know
moving
that.
to this.
I told you I'm just going gut here.
And I am not saying I don't like Austin Trusty. I think if this guy was having this season
that's
last
what
a
I
year
heard you
ago,
say. You don't like Austin Trusty.
if it was a year ago, this guy would be finding a way into this team. But it's hard just to pull that trigger, not ever seeing him play with any of the other players or in Berhalter's system.
No, I understand that. I definitely think that but again, I'm not coming at this as what will Greg Berhalter do. I'm coming at this, what would I do? I'm Greg Berhalter now. I'm lithe. I got good kicks. I got no hair. I'm picking Austin Trusty. I'm picking Jordan Mihalovic.
Who are you dropping for Trusty? You can't just say
Morris. Jordan Morris.
So you're just taking a
extra
full
spot.
switch. You're taking an extra defender and one left.
Because this
There's
is
a ton
the three
of trackers.
This
There's
is
a ton of attackers in there,
the three bonus spots, right? You've got those three bonus spots, 24, 25, and 26. You would normally have. I don't really have to worry too much about bringing extra attackers. Morris is going to be there because Berhalter may try to use him to close out games. Now it's also very, very aspirational and hopeful to imagine that you can throw Jordan Morris on to close out games. Because you might not be able to close out games. You might need to go get a goal at the end of the game. And Joe Scally is definitely a one who is tough to leave out. He is tough to leave out. Now, I don't know that he's covered himself in glory when he's played with the national team, but that's closer. Like, that's maybe less of a concern in that position. What about Aaron Long? What am I talking about? Why is Jonathan Tannawat saying?
You're not talking about him as someone you might drop. Like,
I'm not dropping.
I know, but a lot of people are saying Aaron Long's the guy that they want to see out. But Aaron Long's catching so much shade. I mean, he is the Jonathan Bornstein of the 2022 World Cup.
You can't tell me that anybody. So who would be on the list? Okay. If you make a switch, you're making a switch because you either think you're not going to be using that player at all, so why not bring another option, right? Because we are talking about the bottom end of this roster. We're not talking about, except for Aaron Long, who might be a starter. But there's not another center back in the pool where you can say he's absolutely 100% an upgrade over Aaron Long. There just isn't one. Not so much so that you can't argue Aaron Long should at least be in the team. I'm not saying
the problem with Aaron Long is that it's form. There's been times in his career where Aaron Long was one of the best defenders in the U.S. national team pool. But it's just, he's not that guy, at least not right now. So, again, the thing that I don't get with this, I'm not saying don't bring Tim Ream. Bring Tim Ream. Find a spot. Again, drop an Areola, drop a Morris, drop a Tillman, drop whoever, and bring Tim Ream. Have no problem with that. I would be comfortable with Tim Ream being in this team. But Aaron Long and Tim Ream are very, very, very different players. Okay, in terms of how they can play the game. You're not starting Tim Ream over Aaron Long if you have the way of playing that Berhalter wants to use, right? To even put himself, it just doesn't make any sense. Just in terms of, again, you're taking a stationary, smart, savvy, but and obviously good with the ball at his feet defender, and I'm not saying the build-out doesn't matter, but if you're talking about what they do, you're not going to swap Aaron Long for Tim Ream. You may find a spot for Tim Ream, but it's not going to be kick Aaron Long out of the team. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. I just think the fan base, I think the fan base is extra hard on Long for I don't know, whatever reason they want to. It's not that I don't think he's terrible. I just don't think he's the right level right now, or at least not anymore.
That's fine.
But
that's
also,
fine.
It's not just about being the best defender.
CCV. Then start CCV or start Mark McKenzie. You feel better about starting Mark McKenzie?
Yeah, because the CCV and Wood Zimmerman together, you don't have the speed you need. At least Long has speed. I don't think he does well with it these days, but at least still he has the speed more than either of those two guys, Walker or CCV.
By the way,
McKenzie's
Aaron Long's not a slow player now. That's not what happened. He came back from his injury, and he's not playing good soccer, but he's not a slow player.
The most surprising thing about what's wrong with Aaron Long is his passing. That's one of the things I thought he used to be decent with. I think his passing was pretty good. That's one of the things that's been shocking is the playing the balls out of the back. And that's what Berhalter demands of his system. So it's odd that he keeps going with Long when his distribution seems to be so poor.
Again, he's absolutely guilty of locking in on guys and then just riding with those guys. I think once Miles Robinson went down, he made his choice. Aaron Long was his choice. I mean, obviously Walker Zimmerman emerged too through qualifying. I mean, I'm not sure.
We have seen that Berhalter has the ability to get away from his pets. Look at Sebastian Lletget. I mean, there's certain guys. Tim Ream early on. Tim Ream early on was a locked in chalk call up for Berhalter. So he does have the ability in sometimes to drop. I just don't think this close to the World Cup he's going to change any of his pets at this point.
Well, I think that's the bottom line. Now, here's the question:
the girl that brought him. You know,
do you think that Greg Berhalter had his roster done, sorted, 26 players decided upon before this weekend, before last weekend, a month ago? Or do you think he's still scribbling some names off and putting some guys in?
I think there's maybe two spots or something like that he's still working on. I don't think it's a mass edit at this point. I think it's who's injured, I think really the only decisions right now are based off of does he need to backfill anyone from injury.
Okay, well, so here's
forward position. I think that's one of the ones.
Looking at this real quick, is there anybody? So let's imagine a perfect world where everybody is healthy. How different does it look? Miles Robinson is in this team, 100%, and he's probably in for.
Luca De La Torre's in this team.
He might not be. He might be in for long. Robinson's could be in for long,
he could be.
Or you could bump Long down,
or
and
McKenzie.
CCV misses out, or McKenzie.
No, CCV is the Zimmerman backfill.
Okay,
I think that's 1 for 1. It's
okay.
If Miles Robinson is good, either McKenzie or Long are out. That's the backfill.
Who else?
Am
I missing somebody else?
I don't.
In terms of injury, long-term missing this tournament.
Chris Richards.
And really, that's the kicker here, right? Because we thought he was going to get a chance to emerge, and he would be the guy. We wouldn't even have this conversation about Aaron Long.
We're playing third string left center back.
Right. Which is
we also not talked about Eric Palmer Brown. That's a wild card, a dark horse that Berhalter could pull up. If you want that dynamic, fast defender.
I think we're all just guessing when it comes to McKenzie over EPB.
That is a wild card spot if there's ever been one. That second backup.
Okay. So here's again. You mentioned that De La Torre's back in training. We put him right into the team. I think that's reasonable. Although I definitely think that you are concerned about his layoff. Richards had a longer layoff than Luca De La Torre. Sean says he could be back for the World Cup. What does that mean?
And then let's say right below it, though, Derek says Richards ain't making. He's still doing upper body reps right now. This is the American fan base in general because none of us know.
Well, no, this is everybody, though. Nobody's releasing in-depth information unless they are just out, right? Like, I mean, you'll hear a guy gets hurt, and you'll hear, he's not going to play for us again until December, or he won't be in training for us till December. That doesn't mean he won't be healthy enough to go to the World Cup, and in some cases, that's what these players are hoping for, right? I don't know. It's the issue with Chris Richards. What I was going to say is, whatever. Maybe Derek's right. Maybe Sean is right. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, we don't really know. If he did come back, if he was able to run, and let's say he was, you're guessing 45 minutes fit. When the deadline hits, because the deadline's not the 9th, the deadline's the 13th. Do you take Chris Richards? Do you take him on your World Cup team?
I can't trust that. There's not enough depth at the center back position that I don't think you risk taking a guy that's 50% when you could take a guy that's 100% that's just maybe not quite as good. I don't think he's not a Gio Reyna. You know, he's not that kind of player for this team where it's like no matter what percentage he is, he needs to have a spot because he could do something in those minutes. A defender is supposed to be steady, consistent, and stable. You know, he's not the guy that you get in for 10 minutes is going to do something on the field that's going to make a difference. You know, like I think you want guys that can take the ringer. The World Cups are going to be a ringer. It's going to be a ringer. You guys are playing games a week after their club games on a shortened season. There's a ton of minutes on these bodies. You need guys that you can count on for significant minutes. And I don't think the center back position is one of those places where you take a luxury pull like that.
And this is the thing. Like, so David says you take him because the other options aren't great. Even for 20 minutes to close the game is a better option. You don't take a player who's not fit enough to give you more than that.
Because that's your last sub.
Don't.
That's probably your last sub you're making in the game. And if he can't go and he pulls up lame, you can't replace him.
And I know it's easy for us to say like, oh, he'll never, these guys at the end of the roster won't see the field. I mean, obviously, if you're talking about Chris Richards, you're hoping he does see the field because he's one of your better options at center back when he's healthy. But you're like, Areola, Morris, Tillman, not going to see the field. How do you know? How do you know? You don't know. You don't. I don't know. It's gonna be fascinating to watch this. It really is. It's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out.
You know
Because
what's fascinating this weekend?
I don't know. Where are you going with this? What
The,
happened?
Leeds,
Did you
the
just
Leeds
change
match.
the Leeds match? I actually did not get a chance to watch the Leeds match this
Not even
weekend.
the highlights.
I've been meaning to all day long. Tell me, fill me in. I'm guess I'm not as the Leeds fan I thought I was. I guess I'm really not. I really just didn't have time to make my spot for it. Go ahead.
I mean, it was what Jesse didn't need, but what he did need at the same time.
What does that mean?
Because the guy gets an early goal, they get an early penalty goal off a beautiful Brendan Aronson entry pass, a little chip over the top pass to Somerville. By the way, Somerville, who has been the hero the last 3 weeks, I don't know if you remember, on this program about 2 months ago, I told you that watch out for this kid Somerville that Leeds has. Rewind the tape, you'll hear me saying it. Okay. That I was watching him in cup competitions and he was looking really good then. All right, anyway. Draws a penalty, go up 1-0 within the first 7 minutes. Proceed to give up 2 goals at home before half. Down 2-1 at half. Come out about 5 minutes into the second half, go down 3-1. Jesse's name is being burned in effigy.
He's not doing this thing, is he? He's not doing this.
There's none of the wrist action. The wrist action. Then goes on to make some really good subs. Makes some very good subs. Plays the kids. Nanto comes in. Greenwood comes in. Some of the guys he's bringing. Greenwood for Mark Rocca, which I thought was a really interesting choice. And they get a goal back from Greenwood from outside the box. Beautiful curling shot. And then they go out, they level the game on a why am I blanking on their center back's name right now? It's their captain. I'm blanking on it. Cooper. Thank you, Nick. Cooper comes in. It's just one of those head balls where just one guy wants it so much more than the other one. It's a captain's goal. It's the kind of goal where it's just like, my team needs me to just dunk on this dude. It was a Gareth Bale style. Like it's a captain's goal. Like your team needs it in that moment. They level the game. Ellen Road goes nuts, right? They fought back to 3-3. 83rd minute. Nanto goes out on this great break, and Tyler Adams is flying on the right side of it, pulls 2 defenders. Somerville comes across. Nanto puts a great split ball through. Nanto finishes for 4-3, and then they hold on the last 6 minutes for a comeback 3-1 to 4-3 victory. And Ellen Road, that place is loud, man. When that place is going off, it is. So it's like what I said. Jesse doesn't need this type of win. He's had these type of wins already at Leeds. Wolves last year.
Well,
he's had these wins. He needs a 2-0 victory so bad.
Okay, he probably does. That's probably fair. But he also just needs points.
Well, he needs to not give up 2 to 3 goals a game.
No, that's true. But at the same time, this is how they were playing under Bielsa, and every Leeds fan was drinking the Kool-Aid that Bielsa was serving them. Which, I guess I get that. Jesse hasn't gotten quite. I mean, look, it's up and down, right? It depends on the results. But I just feel like they have been pining for Bielsa. If they want Bielsa football, they're getting Bielsa football.
This isn't any different.
That's what I'm saying.
The question becomes, can Jesse Marsh's system, this narrow system that he plays, that Red Bull style, the Jesse Marsh version of Red Bull style, can that be successful in the Premier League, where the players' coaching and technique is so good to spread? Can you be successful in that narrow system with the fullbacks that they have? Because that's where they need to get it. And I don't know that. While I love Rasmus Christensen, I love that guy as a player. He's not the best defender. I like him going forward. And was this? I always forget how to say his name. Struik. That's what it is.
Struik. Whatever his name is. Yeah.
It's not good enough. So they got to get a left back and a striker, and we've said that for months now. But Rodrigo's not a striker. They've got some choices to make, but I think one of the most interesting choices is going to be Nanto or Harrison down the stretch, and that's one of Jesse Marsh's biggest decisions he has to make.
I'm not like just Struik says JT. So there you go, Struik.
Sorry, I had Skelvik on the Galaxy for a while, so sometimes I get those mixed up.
I'm not necessarily my finger's not on the pulse right now of Leeds United and the faithful there. but it, it'll be interesting to watch, continuing on this journey with Jesse. I will say that for whatever concerns there are about Jesse, they seem to have completely adopted Tyler Adams as one of their own. They are just in the bag for him at this point. And why wouldn't you be, based on the work he does?
Well, it's not the love. We knew.
Again, the thing about him in this, and we keep saying this, we repeat ourselves week in and week out when it comes to what he does for Leeds versus how he's used for the U.S. men's national team. And there's also just that thing, like your club approach is going to be different than your national team approach, and it's not like, oh, Greg Berhalter, you're not taking advantage of Tyler Adams because you're not playing exactly like they do as Leeds, because that has a knock-on effect, and you have to do other things around the field with the players that you have. Now, of course, we have the hanging criticism of Greg Berhalter that he is forcing a style on his team that doesn't necessarily fit the personnel, or he's complicating things to a certain point that will ultimately lead them to not succeed at the World Cup. But let's just point out that Tyler Adams is thriving at Leeds. Again, with this team giving up 3 goals and all the stuff that they do, thriving at Leeds and getting adored for it with a slightly different approach. He's so free to go anywhere.
He's a top 10-6 in the Premier League.
He's a touchline to touchline guy for that team, that he can't really be that guy for the. I mean, he there are times when he is, but I don't think he's as free to play the way he wants to with the U.S. men's national team. He's just not, right?
Yeah, and as Sean Weeks is saying right here, Adams looks better and more comfortable in the dual pivot 6 compared to when he plays a lone 6 for the national team, and that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I think there's a legit reason why Tyler Adams looks so good in the Premier League, and when he comes to the U.S. national team, while he's never poor, he's just asked to do more, and that's hard to say because he's being asked to do a lot for Leeds. He just has coverage.
It's not, but it's not even really about the defensive work, because I think he still is excellent at that with the national team, and for the most part, he does that job well.
It's just too much to cover.
Not as free to cover. Not as free. Well, it's too much in the sense that there's not somebody else there that allows him to go wherever he wants without having to worry about being
losing the midfield.
Yeah, losing the midfield, leaving gaps, right? But it's also about build-up. It's also about the ball, having the ball. He doesn't have to be the guy who keys every build-up. He doesn't. If he's taken out of a game for the national team, they have problems because, again, we just talked about it. Center backs who can't necessarily cut out lines and play through him, right? Or play past him, bypass him in ways that are effective for the national team. And we're not. Occasionally there will be balls over the top. We don't have anybody to go win those right now that we trust. We've talked about all these issues, so it's not just about Tyler Adams in a dual pivot as a defender versus a single pivot as a defender. It's about Tyler Adams as the focal point of the build-out, because he's not the best passer. He does some nice things for Leeds, but it's because he has coverage. It's because he's free to do those things without having to sweat the ball going the other way and his team getting caught out.
Are Musa McKinney being asked to do enough to help him? Or is Adams there purely to enable McKinney and Musa to try and be free?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you want to tweak the balance of the midfield, we've talked about that too, right? But there's a knock-on effect. It's possible, especially with the opponents that we have at the World Cup, that's the better approach. We've already talked about dropping Musa deeper, right? If you want to play through Musa, okay, he's not a great passer. He's not a guy who's going to be on the half turn and find somebody in space. He may help you cycle the ball, and he certainly is capable of, if you find him with his head face towards goal, if you find him, he can go with the ball, right? If he doesn't have somebody on him and he's able to turn, Yunus Musa can drive the ball forward and create a lot of havoc and cause problems and set the United States up to make chances, to create chances. But that doesn't happen as much as you would like, depending on the situation and the player. I mean, the opponent. Yeah.
Other Americans had a good weekend, though. Gio Reyna gets back on the score sheet again for the penalty spot for Dortmund. Solid game, but you would like to see him do something other than just a penalty spot, but good to see him be confident from that strike. Looks happy, doing a little TikTok dances as a celebration afterwards. Definitely looked better with his dances than Pulisic.
I can't wait until after we get past Wednesday and we're just debating for the next, week and a half, because that's what it is. It's almost here. Week and a half starting lineup. Is Reyna in the starting lineup? Is Aronson in the starting lineup? What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Oh, and that conversation will happen in a few different ways, because there's a likelihood that someone might pick up a knock. It's a completely conceivable thing that in the last fixture, someone picks up a knock, and we don't know how serious it is. Like, does that put a question mark? McKinney's
the
a question
timing
mark
of all
right now.
this, very
McKinney's a question mark
interesting.
right now,
Yeah, he is. You're right. That's 100%.
which brings up the
sure.
conversation of Reyna and Aronson right now.
Yes, and look. By the way, I can't believe I didn't play while we were talking about the going to the World Cup. Get on. I mean, I know Jurgen's not in charge anymore, but it's still a Chapa going to Qatar. But yeah,
Can you believe the biggest grifter of all? The biggest grifter of all isn't going to Qatar.
who's? Oh, you mean Jurgen Klinsmann?
Oh,
he's
yeah,
not going.
Grifting what, Stuttgart? Like,
You mean like he's not going as a coach? 'Cause he
Officially.
probably could.
Oh,
he's
that
probably
guy's
there.
taking a free plane ride. We're talking about AO. Give Klinsmann a call. He'll take a free plane ride.
He's definitely there on somebody's dime. That is 100%, 100% true. That he is there on somebody's dime. Somebody and look, I know there are other podcasts doing previews on all of the group stage opponents. Have we talked about any of those other teams and where they are right now? I mean, Mehdi
not gonna
Taremi
act
is
like I
very
know.
good. Everybody should be scared of Mehdi Taremi for Iran. They have a couple of players who may not be there. Hard to know if that's
I can't forget their attacking midfielder. Is he out? I know he was talking about his calf muscle may have been gone. I never heard again if he was truly out or not for the World
I
Cup.
have to check on that. I'm not going to pretend to know.
Nor I, but-
Wales has at least one or two significant
Gareth Bale's
absences.
hot.
Well, he can still jump. We know that he can jump in the air very high. So
Yeah.
let's mark that guy. Let's mark that guy.
I'll say for England, obviously Ben Chilwell going down with a fairly what Chelsea's calling a fairly significant leg injury.
Yeah,
Losing
that's not
him,
good.
that's not good
Yeah.
for their left back spot. Reece James, I believe, is out now as well.
He's in a race to get healthy. He was in the stands again today.
They still have Trent Alexander-Arnold, so it's not like they don't have.
But he's
someone-
not in good form, and they're all freaking out that he's not going to be good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that matters. I think he's still a very good player, and who knows?
As long as they start Harry Maguire, we got a chance.
So they have a couple of things happening with England and Wales and Iran. Okay, so there you go. I mean,
Defensively,
we're not
I think
gonna-
offensively, England is something to be feared. But defensively, there may be some places that the U.S. can try to expose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of these games are going to be full out blowouts. I think they're all going to be pretty tight. I'm not going to say the U.S. is going to beat England. They're still decided underdogs against England,
I'll be honest
regardless
with you,
of what
Jason.
happens.
My,
What?
my biggest fear, and I think it is a practical one, is that we're like Germany in 2006 and we don't score a goal.
Oh, that's not. I don't think that's going to happen.
Dude.
I don't think that's going to happen. No, they're going to score. They're going to score.
Okay.
They'll be fine. They'll score. I'm not saying they're going to win the group. I'm not saying that. I don't know. I really, really want to believe they're going to get out of the group. I really, really do. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll tell you how I feel after the roster. Did you have something you wanted to finish out with here today?
Oh, you're going to let me have a game? I
Oh.
got a game prepped.
Jay
I
Rodius.
got a game prepped.
Wink Rodius. Keep forgetting to go with your official name. Wink
Yeah, how about
Rodius.
that, huh?
Yeah. Do I
You
have?
had- you got my match game music?
No, I don't have any match game music.
Come on, dude.
No.
Oh, wait. Nick's saying
might
that
have
he
it.
got it. Oh,
Nick is gonna
I
play the
love
match?
Nick.
Okay.
Nick,
Oh, but I
Nick
can
is
give it
duct
to you.
tape.
You can give it to me. Okay. Can't you play it through StreamYard?
guess I
Can't
could.
you do that? Yeah, do that.
If I have it.
But give the man. Oh, if you have it, Jared, you're gonna have to vamp. Go
Well,
ahead.
let
Give us
me
your-
tell you what the game is. So recently, I don't know if you heard or not, Hani
Hmm.
Mukhtar just won the Landon Donovan MVP award.
I did. Okay, hold on one second. I'll show you something. Okay.
Oh, did you get something for free?
I showed you this, right?
Oh,
Did
the
I show you
album?
this?
All
this
his
is
hits?
The Hani Mukhtar album.
Play the hits.
I don't have a whatever they call that, a record player. What's the
You
other
should
name?
give it
for
away,
a turntable.
then.
I don't have a turntable or whatever.
Where'd you give it away?
I probably should. I have a lot of stuff I could give away. I was thinking about that
Yeah, no
today.
shit.
Should give some stuff away. Send me your address. I'll probably send you something. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What else?
All right, so I wanted to find out how much does Jason Davis know about MLS's MVP award? Okay. So I'm going to give you some questions. Nick, I think some of these ones, I think maybe just for Jason, but if you want to get it on any of these, you want to have a chance for a couple of them, let me know.
Okay.
I think there might be a couple that it might be tough, but you can definitely get in on these first couple if you want in, or unless you're looking for the music.
No, I don't have it.
He doesn't have it. They don't get it, Wink Rodius. Sorry,
So,
man.
Jason,
Yeah.
how many times, and Nick,
Mm-hmm.
how many times did Landon Donovan win the MVP award for MLS?
Do we want Nick to guess before I give you the answer?
Oh, give me the answer because you
Yeah,
know.
I'll give you the
Oh,
answer.
okay. I mean, shoot. So
Hmm.
what do you think, Nikki?
Nikki's soup and salad.
First of all, what you munching on?
If this was
Sunflower
Hollywood Squares, they would be like, Nikki's soup and salad.
I'm
Corner
going
square.
to say
Hollywood Squares needs to come back. They did Rap Squares or something for a while, I think.
Like Rap Snacks?
Yeah, well, sort of. Except rappers in the squares instead of
who was
like.
the middle square?
I don't remember.
Probably MC Hammer.
Flavor Flav.
No.
Flavor Flav.
Oh, sorry.
So Landon, I believe he was given they gave him this award because he's the all-time leading goal scorer. Not so much that he won the most MVP
He's
awards.
not, though. He's not the all-time leading goal scorer, but he was maybe.
At one point he was. Right?
Yeah, Chris Wondolowski overtook him towards the end.
I'm going to say 2.
Okay, Jason?
The correct answer is one time. Landon Donovan won the
No
MVP
kidding.
award
The
one
correct
time.
answer is one time. One time. The Landon Donovan MVP award was given to Landon Donovan because he won one time.
I didn't like that. Look, I know honor the league's most important player for your first 2 decades. Like he really was. He deserves all the recognition for helping the league get where it was and all that stuff. But don't name the MVP award after him after he won one time. It's just so weird. It's so weird. Ugh. And they still haven't renamed the Defender of the Year award. And I think there's one obvious candidate. You could say the Eddie Pope Defender of the Year award.
A lot of people want Chad Marshall. A lot of people
Chad
want
Marshall's the guy. He won it 3 times. He's the guy. Chad Marshall, the guy.
So next question, and Nick, you can participate in this one too, I'm sure. So, 27 times the MVP Landon Donovan MVP award has been awarded.
Is it retroactively the Landon Donovan MVP?
The whole time. It's always been. It's always been. You never knew. In a parallel universe, it's always been.
That's right. That's right.
How many Americans have won the MVP award?
Oh,
out of the 27 times it's been awarded, how many Americans have their name on the Landon Donovan MVP award plaque in the girls' restroom at Top Gun Miramar Base?
You know, I did this, or I counted one time not that long ago. I can't remember what it is.
Okay. Take a guess.
I will say
Nick,
7.
7.
Nick says 7.
All right. I'm going to talk it out and probably going to get nowhere close.
Wait. Don't talk it out, please. Just give me a number.
Ah, shit.
I'm sorry. I just, for future things that we're going to do in this game, don't talk it out.
All right. I'll say 8.
The correct answer, Nicky Soup and Sausage, was 7.
Okay.
Nicely done. Happy
I
sausage.
didn't want to
Thank you.
copy his answer, but okay.
Oh,
now, hold on.
I'm
I'm not.
the retroactive stuff.
What?
I didn't want to give his answer, so I gave the wrong answer. Say what you believe. Say what you believe.
I just figured he was playing
I
Price
didn't
is
know
Right
the
rules.
answer. I just was.
Okay.
I kind of was, but I would have been. Yeah, right. I kind of was doing
Okay.
Price is Right rules.
Here's your next question.
Man, quit hating on me. I'm
Here's
just
your next question.
playing a game here. God.
Hey,
Yeah.
name them.
Name them.
You guys want to work together? I'll let you work together.
Okay.
Landon.
Landon won. Preki won twice. Preki counts. He played for the U.S. men's national team no matter where he was born. Wando won 1. Guaranteed. After this, it gets... Tony Miola won 1. That's 5.
That's a good poll.
Right.
I'll
Let's
tell you
see.
what. The 2 that I don't know if I would have gotten are 2 you still have to say. Of 2 of the 3.
Oh, can you
have
give
still
me...
to say.
Can you give us the year, or is that too much?
Yeah, I can give you the year.
Give me the year for those 2.
The 2 that I don't know if I would get. There's 3 you still have to get.
I
The
thought you
years,
said-
the years you
I thought I
need
got to
get
5.
still.
Oh, okay. There's 7 that have won it. Preki won twice. 8 years they've won it.
Yeah,
Okay.
the years.
Got it.
Yeah, the years you still need to get
Okay.
are 1999.
Jason Kreis,
Nicely done. 2005.
2005. 2005.
Clint Dempsey.
2005. No, Clint Dempsey never won an
And
MVP.
2013.
2005.
You still need 2005, 2013. And 2005, I don't know if I would have gotten this one.
2005. MLS MVP.
And the other
Brad
one was
Davis.
2013.
Say
No,
what?
Brad
Jason?
Davis.
And the other one was
Jason-
2013.
The other one's
Yeah,
2013. So
2013.
you want to go with Davis for 2005?
No, it's purely a guess.
If you
I
guys
think
don't
it's
know, I
Davis.
can just give them to you.
Oh.
But there's 2 left.
Did Ralston win one? Ralston didn't win one, right? Taylor Twellman win one? Twellman scored a bunch of goals in shit. Man.
Look at that.
Ante
poker face.
Razov. Somebody said Ante. I'll go with Ante Razov.
Are you looking at the chat?
Yeah, I looked at the chat.
What are you looking at the
I'm
chat
sorry.
for?
I didn't mean to. I looked. My
All right,
eyes.
are you going to
glanced
answer
down.
Russell? Do you want to do one more? Because you have one, the 2013 stuff. Do you want to take a guess at that one, or you just don't know?
Okay, so that was the year that RSL won the title. Sporting won the title against RSL.
Don't be
I'm just
cheating looking in the
thinking.
chat.
No, I'm not.
There's lots of names in there. I'm not saying they're all
Not
right, but
looking.
there's lots of names.
Not looking. Seattle was good that year, but that would have been Dempsey and Martins, right? Together, maybe? Am I early on that?
Ago?
Am I early on that?
Wow.
But they
I'm
wouldn't.
going to give you a 5-second.
Hold on.
5,
Ba,
3,
ba.
2, 1,
Okay, I don't know.
0.
Nick Romano.
The 2005 was Taylor Twellman.
Talk myself out of it.
And the crazy thing is that MVP 2005 didn't get selected for the World Cup 2006 roster. Pretty rough.
MLS was trash. Everybody knew it.
2013, you're going to kick yourself for this one, Jason.
Yeah, probably.
Mike McGee.
Oh, my God. I watched the man get the award in Kansas City, too. Jesus.
Mike
Can't
McGee
believe it.
on that one.
That is the weirdest MVP in league history. Weirdest.
Well, some people
By
might
a
say Tony
large
Viola.
stretch.
Tony Viola's kind of weird.
No, because he's a goalkeeper,
keeper.
sure, but
Yeah.
he was that good that year, and they won the title and everything. The Mike McGee thing is he played for 2 different teams that season. And it was just like,
Steve Hidalgo put Cano Smith.
what? Yeah, it was.
It's a
That
good
was
joke.
weird.
All right, so one of my questions here, and you already said it, was who's the only player to win it twice? Preki.
Preki.
So the actually should be called
By the way,
Preki MVP award.
What it should be, the Preki. That would be great. The Preki MVP award, or just say actually have to say his real name. That would be incredible.
Oh, Rostislav. I can't remember what it is. What is it? Do you remember what it is?
It is
Radislav is his last name?
Radislav. It is
I think it's
something
Radislav
like
or
that.
something like
I mean,
that.
we're not actually saying it correct because we're
Oh,
not.
God, no.
We're not Serbian.
And I think,
Okay.
did he come up through Belgrade?
Hold on. Predrag.
Predrag.
Radoslavjevic.
And I think that name was on his national team jersey when he first started. Then he convinced him to let him put Preki.
Probably.
So I think for a time it was on there.
Save some money, dude. Back then, the national team was broke.
So another
Save some
thing,
money.
a funny thing about when you're looking at the MVP candidate list is the finalists, the people that were right there. And for the most of the league's history, it's always been 3 finalists, one winner, 2 finalists, like 2 runner-up. Now, for some reason, in 2020 and 2021, there were 4 finalists, and I don't know why those 2 years are different.
Wasn't it
We
bigger
went
this
back
year
to-
too? Wasn't it like 5 guys on
They're
the
only
finalist
listing
list?
Dreesy and Andre Blake. As
Oh yeah,
finalists.
that's right. The 3.
So I don't know
that's
what
right.
was different about those 2. But my question to you: so lots of finalists.
Uh-huh.
Which one of the players that I'm about to give you?
Nobody,
I'm gonna give you 4
nobody
players.
remembers the runner-up for Miss
But
Universe.
listen, that means they had a really good seasons, right?
It does, yeah, it does, yeah.
Which one of these players was not a runner-up for the MVP award?
You mean like
I'm gonna give you-
ever?
I'm giving you
You're gonna-
Americans. I'm giving you American names. You tell me which one of these guys, one of these 4, was never a runner-up for the MVP award in MLS. Is it
Okay.
Sasha Kleshtin, Breck Shea, Brian Ching, or Lee Win? Which
One of those was
4?
never in the
never a
runners-up.
finalist.
Never a finalist.
The other 3 were all finalists for
Give me one
the
more time.
MVP award.
One more time.
Sasha Kleshtin,
Uh-huh.
Breck Shea, Brian Ching, or Lee Win.
I'm going Breck.
Nick's on
I
the
think
wrong-
it's Brian Ching.
The correct answer is Brian Ching. Nicely done. Breck Shea was a runner-up for the
He
MVP
was.
award in this league. And then when I saw that, I thought it was
He
just
was
such a
incredible.
funny.
That
There
year.
was a time.
He was
I don't know
incredible
if was that a
year.
Dallas year?
That was a Dallas year. He was incredible
So
that
that's-
year with Dallas.
So Sasha
The
Kleshtin
only
with New
time I
York Red
remember
Bull.
him being good.
Yeah.
Lee Win with New England. I'm surprised you guys all didn't consider Lee Win because he was always decent, but I don't know if he was
No,
at MVP level.
He had
He
a
had some
year
good
where he had
years
That
in
like,
one
New
year, yeah.
like 14 or 15 assists or something. Like he had a great year that year. Yeah.
Here's a question for you.
Was that the year they went to the final against LA?
Probably.
Or was that before Lee was
No,
there?
they went to the final against LA when it was the
2014.
Were they against LA in 2014?
Yeah.
It was Houston
2014.
Dynamo, and maybe it was New England. You're right. I think
I
it
know
was New
that
England. Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
that
yeah,
the year that you went out for the final, Jason?
Yeah, it was there.
Okay.
Jared and I sat together for that final.
I've got 2 more questions for you.
Pretty
I
sure
remember
that
you
Lee Win was in that
broadcasting from
team.
the stadium.
Yeah, Lee Win was in that team. He was in that team. That was
Oh,
might
that's right.
have been
I
the
didn't
year.
play in the media game because we were doing a show instead.
Yes, we did broadcast from the stadium. Yep.
All right, so
Richard
simple
Farley was on
question.
that show.
Such a simple
Shout out
question.
Richard Farley. Uh-huh.
What team has the most MVPs? What
Ooh,
team has had
that's
the most
interesting.
MVP awards?
Wow. Let's see.
Obviously, longevity a team's been in the league might play a factor. It might not.
Might play a factor. Could be.
Are the originals
Man.
that good? Has some teams that ever joined later have been that hot?
That's a really weird thing. I can't even really get a sense of who it might be. Huh.
You want to throw out an answer? A guess?
I mean, so I mentioned Christ won one in '99. They had David Ferreira as well in Dallas. That's at least 2. LA had Landon.
I'm totally okay talking him out now. Because I had that one question where I want to
Carlos
rename him.
Ruiz win one in Los Angeles? Am I wrong about that, maybe?
Did Keane ever win one?
Who?
Did Keane ever win one?
Keane won one for sure. At least one. Oh, he had to have only won one because the only Preki has won it twice, right?
Right.
That's interesting.
My first thought was Galaxy.
All right, I'll go with Galaxy. Let's just go with Galaxy. Yeah, McGee. Does McGee count as Galaxy or Fire? That's a good question.
Fire that year. Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh, man.
So there is another Galaxy one you didn't mention, which is Kobe Jones.
Kobe
But
Jones won one. Okay.
They still pale in their second place.
Can I make a second guess then?
Sure.
Yeah, cheater. Go ahead.
I was also thinking DC.
Well, yeah, I mean, DC's early years, but then they didn't have another. Oh, who won one? Christian Gomez won one in DC, did he? I have that right? All right.
Did Harks
go ahead.
ever won one?
I don't think Harks won an MVP. No, he didn't score enough to win an MVP.
Team with the most MVP awards goes to DC United.
Oh, it is. Okay.
And they had 2 in a row, different players in Christian Gomez and
Christian
Luciano
Gomez.
Emilio.
Luciano Emilio, good lord. This
Also,
league,
Marco Echeverri and
Uh-huh.
Dwayne De Rosario. Most people,
Oh,
his only MVP was for DC, not
No.
for
But
San
here's the thing
Jose.
about that year. He started in Toronto. He got traded to New York, and he ended up in D.C.,
Yeah.
which was weird.
Yeah.
But the other thing about I was going to say about Luciano Emilio, who had like a 20-goal season, and they gave him a DP contract and all that stuff. This league for about 8 or 9 years, and you could argue, we haven't that far away from it, turned mediocre Brazilian players into absolute stars, or guys who made a lot of bank
He's
for
the
a while.
only Brazilian to ever win
South
the-
Americans. But
He's
yeah,
only
only Brazilian?
The only Brazilian. Now, that's kind of leading you, at least taking one country off my next question to you guys. My last question to you guys on this.
Most MVPs for a country. Interesting.
What 2 countries are tied for the most MLS MVPs?
I'm going Argentina right off the bat. Right off the bat. It's got to be Argentina.
And what country would be tied with them if that's correct?
The United States of America?
No, I said after the U.S. U.S. has the most.
Oh, okay.
After the U.S., what 2 countries
Gotcha.
are tied for the second most?
Who do you think?
I'm going to
Mickey?
say Venezuela.
Venezuela. Who's Venezuelan?
Did Joseph win one?
He won one. He's Venezuelan.
Trinidadian.
He won one.
Oh, I'm saying Joseph.
Not
I think it's Shower
Showery.
Joseph. Sorry.
And he's not Trinidadian either. He's not. He's from Grenada, I think.
Oh, it's Grenada.
or his-
You're right. It's Grenada.
yeah.
It's Grenada.
Um,
Oh, yeah, Shower Joseph did not
what-
win. He was his runner-up. Sorry.
What? Okay, so I definitely think it's Argentina. After that, it could be. Man,
I think we can rule out a European country, right?
Can we though? Can we? Who else? Because Javinko Italian. Any other Italians or just Javinko? Probably just Javinko, right?
Well,
Who else? Who else?
but he would have only won one, right?
So,
You
yeah,
want a hint?
he only won.
Just
Yeah, give me a
little
hint. Continental. Give me a continental hint.
No, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
None of the players, the 3 people that have won for this country, we haven't said any of their names tonight yet.
That doesn't help me at all.
I'm
How does
saying
that help me?
lets you take away all the people you have spoken about.
Well, okay, but if I knew what country, okay.
Europe.
Definitely Europe. Okay. Let's see. Let me think. European country that has given us NBA. I see David Villa won one, right? Is there any other Spanish players that won? Carlos Hill won one. It's Spain. I'm going Spain. He's the third Spanish player I'm missing.
You can't think of the third one?
No. Who was the third
David
one?
Villa.
I said David Villa.
Oh,
I said
sorry.
David Villa and Carlos Hill.
Pozuelo.
Oh, Pozuelo won one. That's right.
Pozuelo.
Yeah.
So those are
Yeah.
your three. So Spain and Argentina, both with three. The three Argentinians are Guillermo Barros-Schelotto, Christian Gomez, and Diego Valeri.
Diego Valeri. Yep.
Little fun facts about the MLS MVP award.
There we go. That was fun. That was a fun time. Reveling in MLS history.
The Preki MLS MVP award.
That's right.
I mean, Denvan's only even been a
Radoslavic.
finalist one other time. Preki's got 2 wins and a finalist.
Yeah. I mean, and by the way, what's the gap
did it
between
at
his
40.
wins? What's the gap between his wins?
Preki?
Is it like 7 years or
Preki,
something
it's,
like that?
6 years.
6 years.
6
It's
years
still a
between,
long gap.
and he was
Yeah.
40 when he won the
He was
second
40.
time.
Yeah,
So
I
he
mean,
he was a runner-up the first year, and he won
Yeah.
the second year, 1997, and then won again in 2003.
So-
Preki was
so
so cold,
did we-
cold.
did we say that the most random one is Mike McGee in 2013, right? That's the most
Yeah,
random.
I'll through them real quick. Just you guys can make up your mind. The one people never remember, and he was so good this one year. Alex Pineda-Chacon for Miami Fusion.
For LA.
That Miami
Oh,
Fusion
for the Fusion,
team
that's right, the
was
Fusion.
so good.
Yeah,
Really,
and then they
really
got
good.
shut down.
Yeah.
Shut down. Yeah.
Yeah, they all went their separate ways. Carlos Valderrama, first year. Preki, 97. Marco Echeverri, 98. Jason Christ, 99. That's a sneaky one. I don't think a lot of people remember that how good Jason Christ was and that he won that. He was the all-time gold leader for quite some time.
For a while, yeah. I mean, it was still early days of the league, but yeah, he was.
Tony Meola in 2000.
Christ might have been the first guy to get to 100 in MLS.
I think he was.
Yeah.
Alex Pineda-Chacon in 2001. Carlos Ruiz in 2002.
Got a rep for Guatemala.
Yeah.
Got a rep for Guatemala.
And I apologize. Kobe Jones didn't win. He was a runner-up. I think I said he
Ah.
won. He was a runner-up. Sorry. I apologize.
Did that change the...
No.
You messing up a
DC
Galaxy
United.
thing.
DC United was. Oh, he should have won. That was the year Marco Echeverri won. Because I don't know. Okay. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? Oh, here's one that a lot of people don't remember either. Amado Guevara.
So this is... I'm looking at it too, and obviously that now we can't do any more guessing, but it's interesting. So you're saying Spain has 3, Argentina has 3. Would most people remember that Honduras is one of the countries with 2?
I don't think
Because that's Chacon, excuse me, and Guevara. And then, only 1 Canadian, 2 Bolivians, right?
Two,
no.
2 Colombians.
2. I
Involved
was going to say
Rama
2
and
Bolivians
Ferreira.
because I just assumed that Moreno won one. Moreno didn't win one.
Moreno
That's
won
right.
one.
No.
Oh, yeah, he didn't.
He didn't win one.
Yeah, he was runner-up a number of times.
Yep.
He was runner-up 3 times. 3 times the
The
bridesmaid.
Colombians are David Ferreira and who else?
Carlos
Carlos Valderrama. Right, obviously, yeah.
Let's see. After Amado Guevara, Taylor Twellman, 2005. That's a tough one. I definitely wouldn't have remembered that one. Christian Gomez, Luciano Emilio, as we talked about in 6 and 7. 2008, Guillermo Barros-Schelotto. 2009, your Landon Donovan. 2010, David Ferreira. 2011, Dwayne De Rosario. Maybe I would have put Preki, then De Rosario as the candidates to have this named after before Donovan. 2012, Chris
Not De
Wondolowski.
Rosario. He won 1 playing for 3 teams.
Dude,
Come on.
so good though.
I know he was great, but he wasn't
And
an
Landon
MVP
Donovan
guy.
wasn't even here for some time. He was off in Europe doing loans.
No,
And stuff like that.
I'm not saying name the award after Landon. I'm saying name it after. Yeah,
Preki.
go ahead. The
Yeah.
Preki. The Preki. It's the Preki Award. Come
2012,
on.
Chris
Only got it
Wondolowski.
twice.
2013, Mike McGee. Oh, and I didn't. Dang it! Did I have this question in there and I skipped it? I did.
What?
I put it in here. I forgot. I
Last
skipped it.
American?
How many
Last
years
American?
has it been since an American won?
Yeah.
9
McGee was the
years.
last one. That's
9
the
years
last
since an
one.
American has won this award in their own.
I don't think that's a
country.
streak that's ending anytime soon. I just don't.
I can't think of an American that's going to threaten for it. Americans
mean,
are going to
look,
move.
Brandon Vasquez.
Vasquez could threaten for it. He could. I think Ferreira, if he stays in the league, if he scores 20 next year or something, he could. And then we'd have father-son winners, which would be wild.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Robbie Keane, 2014. Sebastian Giovinco, 2015. David Villa, 2016. Diego Valerio, 2017. Joseph Martinez, 2018. Carlos Vela, 2019. Alejandro Pozuelo, 2020. Carlos Gil, and Hani Mukhtar,
Carlos Gil.
2022.
Hani Mukhtar, first German winner. First ever German winner. Yeah, they just let Timo Werner. You think Hani Mukhtar will get a call based on his MVP award win in Major League Soccer? Think Hansi
Unlikely.
Flick is like, give me that Hani Mukhtar. Saw what he did in MLS? No?
Yeah, I don't.
Not
think
gonna
it's
happen?
happening.
Okay, that sucks. That sucks.
Have you heard people talk about Kai Wagner to Leeds? I heard that today.
No.
I heard
What?
that today.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Well, they're just
don't
gonna.
know
It was Christian Pulisic to Leeds. Now it's Kai Wagner to Leeds. We're
Well,
doing
they
all
left
this.
back.
Okay.
I don't know. And it was a European source. It wasn't even American. But
Oh, Kai Wagner. My brain went somewhere else. Yes, Kai Wagner. Yes, I had heard that one. I'm sorry. I
Were you
just
thinking of
blanked on
Kai
it.
Havertz?
Something like that.
I was at
No,
first too.
Yeah, my brain blinked out. That's my mistake. Kai Wagner to Leeds, I have heard about. Yeah, I think that's probably going to happen at some point. Actually, yeah.
Hey, look at JTT in the chat. If you
yeah.
want someone to talk to about Kai Wagner to Leeds.
Oh, we'll get JTT back on the show at some point. We will. Maybe.
Now we're an hour and 20 minutes in.
Maybe when we do the roster stuff. Yeah. How did we end up doing an hour and 20 minutes? We had too long on your game. The other thing I was going to say is
Too long on my game. Okay.
Speaking of transfers, Philadelphia Union players going over to European destinations. Paxton Aaronson's moved to Eintracht Frankfurt, right? That's a thing.
It's being talked about.
It's happening, right? JTT's he knows all about it.
I would say temper your expectations. He's going over there in a more raw form than Brendan Aronson was. I don't think he's going to be.
Well,
hit the
so
ground
this
running
is
like
obviously,
Brendan Aronson
we expect a loan situation, and I'm hoping loan to Austria, loan to Belgium, loan to somewhere else, right?
did. Yeah,
He came
I'm
on.
not sure he's ready to go there.
Came on Saturday.
Yeah,
It looked
Yeah,
terrible.
a couple times looked good.
Had a couple moments. Okay, that's it. We're out of here. Patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. We start delivering you more World Cup focused content over there. Like I said, you want to pay $8 and pretend to be whoever you want on this show, you can do that. I'm just kidding. That's not a thing. What else, Jared?
I would
obviously
say
there's selling
follow
points.
us on the socials at the Bestie Soccer on Twitter if you want to know. As we start talking about a potential roster day show, we'll see if we can make that happen.
Can
Best
I
way
make
to
you?
know
Can
is
I?
to follow
Can I
us
get you to commit on that or no? That's not. You can't. Can you get
Timing's the only
commitment
thing
now?
that's gonna. I'd have nothing going on that evening. I got to talk about what time we would do it. I don't know if I can be immediately after the drop. We may have to have like a half hour in there, but let's talk. About it.
Okay. All right. We'll do that. All right. That's it. We'll talk to you guys as soon as we can, whether it's Wednesday after the roster drop or perhaps next week. We'll definitely be talking about the World Cup. We'll see you guys then. Bye.
It was there. Oh, here we go. Saucing them up. Hit him. Wet.
Damn, dog, that's an approach.
Hey, Ron. Where are you?
Go to DEF CON 2.
I don't like this game. Your men are brutish and their play is ugly.
The Sausage King of Chicago.
OMFPG-13, it's JTT!
Who?
WNBC. WNBC.
What are we doing?
Get to the chopper!
Duh and or hello.
Michael freaking Arras.